What is a covert narcissist? The simplest definition would be a person with an excessive need for admiration. They lack empathy, yet are brilliant at disguising the traits. Have you been a victim of gaslighting, manipulation, and control? If so, there are ways to reclaim your life after the smear campaign that you never saw coming, and the disbelief that someone so close could sabotage you subsides. A covert narcissist can be a loved one, a friend, even a family member. You can go years without knowing you were cozy with a covert narcissist because they are charming. For those of you who suspect you may have one in your life, this film will arm you with knowledge from expert therapists in the field of narcissism on how to identify them and walk away. The 3 success stories you will see in this film have been told and illustrated by actors. Both the narcissist and their victims, now survivors, have been given fictitious names. The stories, however, are true.
Of the different types of narcissism, there are 5 subtypes, and those include overt, covert, antagonistic, communal, and malignant. Coverts are much more difficult to see clearly. They come in and they're very slick and they can be charming, but they also have a tendency, once they have established relationships with people, to start to show their true colors.
Honey, the philosophy picnic is a couple of weeks away, and I was just thinking, have you heard of flashcards?
Yeah, I know about flashcards.
Well, I think that if we did them, they might just help round out your vocabulary.
My vocabulary.
Yeah, honey, it's just that sometimes you'll use the wrong word for what you're trying to express. You'll mean to say one word, but you'll use a different word sometimes. It's okay. The flashcards will help.
You're not kidding, are you?
Don't get angry.
It's just a picnic.
It's not just a picnic. It's a philosophy picnic where everyone will be watching.
Are you ashamed of me?
No, honey, I just don't want you to inadvertently make us look bad.
Huh?
Just try it.
Because a narcissist operates in a state of projection, they are never wrong. And they will always blame you for whatever the context is of that conversation. It goes back to their deep shame.
So the movie ends where the lady with cancer gets home from her chemo treatment and she's laying on the couch, exhausted, right? And get this, her dog senses something's wrong with her. So he grabs all of his rubber toys and plastic bones and he brings them over to her on the couch. It was so beautiful. I couldn't stop crying.
Uh-huh.
The bond, Brandy, it was beautiful. Well, I guess you had to see it. I didn't do the scene justice.
Quit my job.
You quit.
Yeah. It wasn't for me.
Brandy, why do you keep bouncing from job to job?
I don't know.
All right. Well, let's take a look at this. What field really gets you excited? Whatever it is, that's where we should look instead of you floating around all the time.
Roxanne, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't jump from job to job. Some of the situations didn't work out because they were ridiculous. Basically, they forced me to leave, so it was their fault.
Okay. Well, still answer the question. What gets your heart going? Let's look at something that matches your personality.
Why don't you just tell me what's a good match?
I don't know. What about Susan's brother? You said he was looking for help at the firm?
He's a dope. He never really had anything anyway.
That's not what you said a month ago. You were all gung-ho about it.
What do you mean? I never said that.
Seems to be your favorite line.
The narcissist does not say they are sorry. They do not experience guilt. They can appear to be guilty through their cognitive empathy. So they may say, I regret, I did X, Y, or Z. This brings them right to a childhood experience, which is where they learn this. I am bad. It has been reiterated and reinforced in a variety of different ways over their lifetime, and that is a painful experience for a child.
Hello there. So good to see you again. But I'd rather not see you when you're not feeling well.
Right.
Now, I understand that you're having trouble breathing again.
I am.
Well, we'll make sure that we take care of that. Don't worry about it. You're in good hands here. Nothing to worry about. This is just a checkup, and we'll make sure that you're fine.
What are you doing on your phone?
Why are you being rude to my patients?
I'm not being rude.
Don't tell me you're not being rude. I saw you. You're rude to your babysitter. You're rude to your mother. And now you're being rude to my patients. Haven't I been good to you lately? Don't make me regret it. Didn't I get you that new Voltron toy that you've been whining about for a month?
That's the wrong one.
What do you mean?
The wee one can expand his legs and is bigger.
Okay, this is what I'm talking about. I get you a toy and you don't appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
This is not appreciation. This is being rude. Welcome back from your vacation. It's good to see you. You're my 3 o'clock, right?
Correct.
Excellent. We'll get you out of here as fast as we can.
I thank you.
People who are in prestigious jobs, they do very well in these jobs, the narcissists do, because there's a built-in admiration that goes with these positions. This is an area in which they can thrive because it feeds the ego that they barely have. It gives them the built-in admiration and attention that they want.
When we're looking at diagnosis of a person that may have NPD, they oftentimes will not check off every box. And this is because we are often really dealing with a question of narcissism as a trait versus a disorder.
So I think what therapists are seeing is that narcissism really does run on a spectrum. There's room between a full-blown diagnosable narcissistic personality disorder and someone who is selfish and maybe unkind. There's space in between for all of that. I would say the person who's lower on the scale, lower on the spectrum for narcissism, has a better chance of overcoming their personality traits.
It's Conrad. It's like he's chipping away at my confidence. It's so subtle. And every time I feel like we're going in the right direction, he goes back to his manipulative ways. And, you know, for a minute, I really thought that he cared about me and the kids.
I don't know why you worship him.
And he knows that. He holds it over me. He knows we're completely dependent on him. That's not what a husband and wife should be like. I'm really starting to lose trust.
I can see that. Everyone can.
You know, he's started telling the weirdest lies.
What lies?
It's bizarre. He'll start telling me a story about someone and he'll make all of these remarks. And then I'll find out weeks or months later that none of it was true. He's so calculating in what he says. I've watched him do it. I've seen it for years.
Dad really likes me now.
And that's why I don't talk to Dad about Conrad. I don't talk to anyone about him.
You need to talk to somebody.
I'm talking to you.
I mean someone outside your circle. Professional, perhaps?
A narcissist lies constantly because there's a lack of accountability in a narcissist, and therefore it's constant shift blame or redirection, projection, even if the truth is very simple and insignificant. A narcissist still has a tendency to lie. So it's very common a narcissist doesn't even realize that they're lying about even small, trivial things.
I don't believe a narcissist can grow emotionally. Again, I think they can learn how to behave, maybe be a better narcissist is what I was told in grad school. That they can learn how to pretend to be more empathic, more friendly, more genuine, but they don't really do it from a true, genuine place.
Hello?
Hey, it's me.
You know I'm not a morning person. This better be important.
Yeah, it's important.
You got a speeding ticket.
I'm pregnant.
Brandy.
I'm in control. I just need to get to the doctor.
And
I need a ride. And you know my license is suspended.
okay. Yeah, okay, I can help. I'll be there for you. Whatever you need.
Like I said, I just need a ride.
Today?
Well, yeah, today. Not right now, but 1 p.m.
I can't today. I've got work and I have a ton on my plate. Can't. What about Jared? Can he take you?
I don't see Jared anymore. He's out of my life.
Do you know how hard it is to just drop everything? I mean, I have my own life. You understand that, right?
Yeah, I understand. But I know it doesn't hurt to ask you. And I'm asking you specifically because I know you can identify with what I'm going through.
All right. 1 p.m.?
Yeah, but no one can know about this, right? You understand?
Obviously.
Narcissists must control their partner or friend or child in order to survive. It is a key element for narcissists to be able to control situations.
They will control you with their words. They will control you with their nonverbals. A narcissist can control you and say nothing at all.
In a narcissist's mind, there is no control. It is chaos. In fact, if you looked inside of the brain of a narcissist, it would look like a tornado.
It's very sad, honestly, if you think about it, that the narcissist is an empty shell. And they go to extraordinary lengths to try to get these things from other people. But it's also a rejection as well. Because on a deep level, they don't believe they're worthy of it.
It's like there's this fake veneer. Like, there's no soul. He doesn't have a soul. There's nothing underneath the brilliance and articulate words that he says. You know, there's nothing behind that brilliance. And I just feel like I'm prey to him, like he's He's sucking the life right out of me, and he feeds on that. But part of me wonders if it's me. I mean, he tells me all the time that it's me that's the problem, and maybe it is. Maybe it is me. But then the other part of me thinks maybe he's wired wrong. To himself, he's normal. And to him, there's no me, there's no kids, it's just him. I'm really at my red pill, blue pill moment.
Red pill, blue pill?
Well, I want to save our marriage. I have to know that part of him is empathetic, that he has love, that he can feel love for me and for the kids. He tells me over and over and over that it's me. And maybe he's right. He's my husband. He knows me. He cares about me. There has to be some warrant to that. I mean, my friends and family, they love him. They adore him. So, but I kind of feel like they're subtly turning on me, and I can't help but feel that Conrad's behind that. But maybe it's just me again, you know, and if he's smoke and mirrors, then I'm giving validity to that illusion.
Cindy, I have a 12-week assessment program that I think might be helpful for you. I'm pretty sure you'll be up for it, but do you think Conrad would be as well?
What would that do for us?
Well, it'll help you figure out if you want to stay married.
So at the end of a relationship, or even during a relationship with a narcissist, they will start a smear campaign, especially when they start to see the relationship going south. They will say everything bad about you that they can think of, and they will try to convince everyone they know and everyone you know that you are the problem, not them. They will go they will go all out to convince everybody that you're the problem. This is called the smear campaign. It's a common language used in narcissistic abuse, and all narcissists do it. There's no exception. The bottom line for healing from this, or understanding, is radical acceptance. You have to accept that there's nothing you can do about this. You also have to accept that the people who really know you and love you won't fall for the lies. They won't fall for the smear campaign. And the people that do fall for it maybe aren't really the right people in your life.
So why do you want to major in psychotherapy?
I want to care for people, Dad.
What does that mean?
I want a job where I can help people with their problems.
You mean like me? A doctor?
Sorta, yeah.
Well, I guess that'd be okay if that's what you want. It's going to be costly.
If I became a therapist, I'd be saving people's lives.
Rahuazad.
It's so good to see you.
Good to see you.
How have you been?
I'm great, just great. Kevin! Oh, you look so tall. Wow.
I hear that you've been going to bat for us against those new rate hikes the HOA's trying to push on us.
Well, yeah, but I don't think it's warranted.
I'm just glad we've got someone like you batting for us.
Oh.
You know, someone out there fighting. In fact, I'm going to have to remember to return those boxing gloves you gave to me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Gotta get going. I have to make Ralph's dinner ready.
Well, you know, are you doing anything special tonight? Because Ralph tells me you do miracles with squid.
Aren't you funny? Well, bye, Kevin.
Bye, Mrs. Can we really sit down and talk about how I feel about things? I mean, really sit and talk?
So a narcissist is highly manipulative, and they live in this sort of duplicitous way. So they are one way in front of certain people and another way in front of other people. They are always looking to maintain that dominance and control in all things. But they also want to appear to be caring and loving and reasonable, and they can manipulate and do manipulate people in a variety of different ways to convince the world that there's nothing wrong with them.
I think people who are in recovery from a relationship with a narcissist are going to already know, or they're going to find out really quickly, that this is a very long process. The healing process can take years. It takes a long time to really kind of wrap your head around what's happened to you, to accept what's happened to you. And the most important thing is recognizing that there's going to be a really strong grief process for you.
Conrad? Do you have any explanation?
Explanation for what?
You didn't get any of my texts or voicemails? You've been out all night.
Yeah, it's been a crazy 24 hours. My student, Talia, she was having a complete crisis. I mean, I actually thought she was in danger of killing herself or something. So, we talked on the phone for a little bit, and then I just went over to her place just to check on her. I didn't go in or anything, but I was there for her, as I should be.
As you should be. This is so messed up on so many levels. You're her professor. She's your student. You're not a therapist. Don't you understand boundaries?
You're gonna play that card again? Look, I was just doing my job. In fact, I was going the extra mile. I'm committed, I'm invested in my students. That's what makes me a great professor.
And what about me? Don't you have those feelings for me? Or is it all about your students?
Give me a break. Look, this is just another example of why you need help. You're actually going to try to, make this into some kind of secret liaison between me and one of my students? I'm the normal one.
How do you think that makes me feel? You're not listening to any reason. You can't understand the logic here, and you're not empathizing. How can you not have empathy? There has to be something inside of you. There has to be love inside of you. You were born with it. I don't understand. How can you be like this? How can you not have love inside of you?
Okay, look, I'll take you up to see that 12-week assessment guide. Maybe we'll get to the bottom of this.
A narcissist, it is said, does not have empathy. And that's partially true and is partially not true. What they do have is they have cognitive empathy. And the difference between cognitive empathy and emotional empathy is the difference between saying, I see that another person is sad.
There is a lot of talk about empaths and narcissists being attracted to each other. And I want to challenge that a little bit. Narcissists will be attracted to anyone who will give them attention. The difference between anyone and an empath is that the empath lets them stay. We tend to want to be giving, want to give the second chance, want to be understanding about what that person is going through, or give them the benefit of the doubt that they didn't really mean to say something so cruel, and that's not really who they are. We just tend to give them a lot more grace than maybe someone who doesn't have as much empathy would.
I don't understand why you have to give your cats away.
I'm a mom now. I have to give my full attention to my daughter. I can't just spend all my time running around cleaning up after them.
Yeah, but you don't just abandon animals like that. Can't believe you're just gonna put them in a box and leave them on the steps of the Humane Society. Are you sure it's all because of Tanya?
If you're so down on a Humane Society, why don't you just take the cats? If you feel so guilty.
That's a really big commitment right now. I can't take that on.
Oh, I see what you're doing. Trying to turn this all around on me. I work so hard at my job. I give so much to it, and yet I still find time to give myself to you. Do you know what I've been through? Never mind the fact that you use me. Use me against my own daughter.
Oh,
What?
Oh, come on. We've been through this a million times. I'm sick of running around and around with you. I'm not just going to sit here and let you say these things. You're not fooling anyone, Roxanne. This is me you're talking to.
Word salad is when the narcissist twists all of the words that have occurred between you and the narcissist in a conversation, twists them around so much that you don't even know what you're talking about anymore. Word salad happens typically when there's conflict, there's tension in the relationship. This is another way that the narcissist manipulates, by twisting the words literally to confuse you so you don't know what you're talking about anymore.
I often refer to narcissist's number one trait as being playing the shell game. Don't look here, look over here, so I can distract you. When a narcissist feels that they did not win a battle or that somebody has wronged them, they will go to extreme measures, including public humiliation, career sabotage, relationship sabotage, even parenting attacks, calls to CPS, anything that they can do to wrong that right in their mind to come out on top. Their mind in that state is victim 100%, and they are entitled by nature. Therefore, this must be corrected. This must be addressed. And they will go to any length or extreme to be able to seek revenge after someone they perceive to be an enemy against them. Their mind is so conditioned that it festers and builds with more hatred, more false narrative that this person did them wrong so badly that they're forced to have these attacks. They're forced to seek these revenge. It's compelling for them. It's not something they can control.
Cindy, good to see you again.
You too.
You must be Conrad.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise. Come on in, guys. Have a seat, please. Cindy, why don't you come around and have a seat over here?
Well, I just want to say I'm really glad to be doing this. This feels like a safe space.
It's meant to be one. So it is just a 12-week assessment, at the end of which we'll decide how you guys want to move forward.
Well, I just want to say I definitely don't want a divorce. This is something that Cindy wants, or she thinks she wants, but I just refuse to believe that you would actually consider giving up on our marriage.
This really is my red pill, blue pill moment.
I'm sorry, red pill, blue pill?
Because a narcissist is about dominance and control, you never go up against a narcissist if you are able to. Some people, for an example, if you are going through a divorce, custody issues, that sort of thing, you will have no choice but to go up against the narcissist. But because they take no accountability for their actions, they will usually go to extraordinary lengths to make sure that they are not held accountable for their actions. And in fact, they will make sure that you are viewed as the problem, that whatever happened is your fault.
If a person is stuck with a narcissist in their life, their best bet is to do what we call gray rocking. You make yourself as interesting as a gray rock, so you don't give them the reaction or the feedback that they're kind of craving. We just make ourselves dull. We limit contact as much as we can. If we have to stay in the same household with them because of a marriage with children, we really need to protect ourselves, have very strong boundaries, not allowing things that don't feel good to you.
Do you remember the times we would sit and talk together in the younger days? And we were totally honest with each other, totally open?
Of course, I do.
Well, I think it's time for that again. I can certainly see that you're going through something. Kevin, you're my child by choice. You can say anything to me.
There's a voice in my head telling me I'm bad. It's my father.
father?
I feel he's seducing me into believing that I'm bad. There's his voice in my head telling me this. Ezekiel, I'm a fatherless man. I'm an emotional orphan.
I surmised that a while ago, Kevin. Well, how are you going to handle it?
Well, if I may share.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on a path of rebuilding through a body-centered mysticism or psychotherapy. It's about relying on the self inside your body, the gut self, through feeling what's going on in the gut. If you listen deep enough, there's an image, there's a message, there's guidance, there's poetry and song. It's like nonlinear wisdom inside of us. And who knows, even that might even fail me. That's all I've got. It's just me now.
Not exactly woo-woo, is it?
Well, where do I go? You know what my father did to me, and you know how I've tried to be fair. You taught me that. I can't say I'm sorry to him anymore. I can't apologize anymore. I've apologized so deeply to him. I've reached out 1,000 times. Every time I think, maybe this time we can forgive each other. Maybe this time we can understand each other. But Ezekiel, I can't do it anymore.
You need to thank your father?
Huh?
Kevin, it might be true that you can't do it anymore, but look at who you are. Because of your father, you went to hell and back 100 times, and that's where you found your confidence. That's how you became a self-made man. In your practice, you can teach people to heal because of what you went through. Think of it that way.
Creating a silver lining, are we?
All humans have a spark of goodness in them. Now, I don't know exactly what kind of voice you have in your head, but you need to be stronger than that voice. And Kevin, you have many, many sparks of goodness in you. Don't ever let anyone tell you different.
The hardest thing for a victim of a narcissist is to understand it's not your fault. You're not the one to blame. If anything, you gave too much. You did too much. You accommodated too much. Because your value and worth was not properly developed at an earlier stage, because you were broken down of your value and worth by a narcissist. You believe it is your fault, but in fact it is not. They are abusive, manipulating, controlling, demanding, and imposing. You will continue to grow as you leave a narcissist and understand, as that fog is lifted from your eyes, from all the conditioning of that world you were in, that it really wasn't you, it was them.
Okay, well, I'm almost afraid to ask what this is about.
Dad, it's like Randy can't not take advantage of me.
What did you do this time?
I paid her damn electricity bill last month. I'm not even going to ask her for the money back. I know she'll never give it back to me.
Well, whose fault is that? I'm sorry, that was a little harsh. Anyway, I thought she had written you off.
Well, she did, but then she needed me again. I don't know, I just feel like it's my responsibility to take care of my friends.
Yeah, but not to this level.
Dad, you and Mom instilled in me that I need to take care of people because, that's what we're supposed to do. That's our job on this planet. We work together and we love one another. I'm drawn to that job. Someday, she'll understand what I've done for her.
Well, I'm not so sure of that, hon. But I am so proud of you, giving her chance after chance. I wouldn't count on her understanding what you've been doing, though. You know, you're trying to walk a fine line here. Look at it this way. You got to try to understand people, especially those that hurt you to the core. Now, there's good and bad in everyone. Good and evil, if you want to go that far. And Brandy isn't all bad. I mean, no one is. But you don't know what she's going through. You don't know what she's been through. And I have a feeling she's not aware of what she's doing either. There's an old adage, only good people think they're bad. Bad people just don't think that way. And that's what makes Brandy a lost soul. So in the end, you're going to have to learn to take care of yourself. And that's the fine line that I'm talking about. Let me see if I can make it crystal clear. You can't take care of someone else until you learn to take care of yourself, or the other person will eat you alive. And that's something your mother and I are not just going to stand by and watch. I mean, we just love you too much.
There's a lot of different parts and hypotheses about how a person becomes a narcissist. It comes from childhood. It is not. It is not. There's no evidence that this is genetic. It is mostly learned, but it is learned from a very young age, and it's not necessarily seen until adulthood. You might start to see like traits of it in the teenage years, but generally speaking, you don't see the narcissistic personality as the child is developing.
When you first engage in a relationship with a narcissist, and after all that charismatic, fun, outgoing, great personality traps you, you oftentimes find red flags that will come up that you find are easy to dismiss by simple excuses internally. They'll easily make excuses for them. In another example, if the narcissist is quick-tempered or knee-jerk reacts to something, again, the victim will say things in their mind like, maybe they had a bad day, they have a lot going on. And oftentimes, by dismissing these red flags early on, once you get into the thick of it down the road, 9 months or a year into the relationship, you've already established with that narcissist that they can do all the things they're doing. You allowed it, you didn't challenge it, you didn't confront it, but instead you internalized and made excuses for it.
Well, guys, it's here at week 11. How'd this week go?
Well, I've been having some growing concerns about Cindy. She's misplaced her keys recently, and she's been really forgetful.
I can't really deny that. I have been kind of forgetful lately, but there was something really peculiar that I lost, and that was the coffee.
The coffee?
Yeah, we have a special blend at home that I was looking for. Our daughter Debbie actually found it in the bedroom under a pillow, and she said, "Mommy, that's such a weird place for coffee to be." And I said, "Yeah, it is. I have no idea how it got there. But I think I do know how it got there."
You see, this is exactly what I have to deal with.
I think we need to address the elephant in the room. As you both know, I'm not a licensed psychiatrist, but I am a therapist. And in my professional opinion, I think you have a problem with narcissism, Conrad. How do you feel about that?
Well, I would say that we're all narcissistic to a certain degree, right? I mean, I could get 20 people that could say that she's the narcissist.
How do you feel about that, Cindy?
My husband is a narcissist. Yeah. That resonates with me, and that brings a lot of the pieces together.
It's called NPD, Narcissistic Personality Disorder.
Well, I don't mean to be offensive, but like you said, you're not a professional, so I think I'd like a second opinion.
Well, actually, that's defensive, but you're absolutely entitled to one. Cindy?
I don't need a second opinion.
Look, I appreciate you trying to help, sir, but you are not a professional psychiatrist, and quite frankly, I don't think you know what you're talking about.
That's not what you've been saying for the last 2 months. You were so happy with Raj up until now.
Honey, he's trying to tell you to get a divorce. He's trying to break up our marriage. Aren't you, Raj?
So to tell a narcissist that you think that they're a narcissist is going to only create a narcissistic wound. They do not like their mask coming off. They don't like anybody to be able to see behind the facade. So if you identify them as a narcissist, typically they will take it personally, as probably anybody would. but it's going to be a much deeper wound for them. They're going to turn that around and project rage at you, tell you all of the insults that they can think of in their minds, which is probably, again, going to be that window into what they hate about themselves. But the danger in telling them that they are a narcissist is that it is going to inflict, it's going to create rage in them that is going to be directed at you.
Depending on the level of narcissism and which subtype that person falls under, there is therapy for behavior modification to slightly tweak some behaviors. The process is mainly done through trying to build self-esteem, build self-awareness. As crazy as it sounds, a narcissist deep inside doesn't have self-esteem and value. That's why they have to present it and subject others to constantly verifying and constantly validating that they're greatest thing ever. But in fact, deeply inside, they feel out of control. They feel not a value and worth of themselves. So in the psychology world, there is belief that some providers say that you can slightly modify those behaviors based on increase of self-esteem and self-awareness. The majority of people in the psychology world believe that there is not an ability to modify or change a personality trait of somebody with narcissism.
Oh, look who's here. You playing with your phone?
My mom is teaching me Insta.
Let's talk in the other room. Tanya likes spending time over here, so I thank you for that.
Brandy, I sold you short, and I'm sorry. You've been a really good mother to her, and I'm really proud of you.
I appreciate that. I like the idea of Tanya staying here from time to time because I know you went through a loss.
Are you talking about what I think you're talking about?
Makes perfect sense, really. While she stays here, you can live vicariously through her. I don't mind, really. Kind of busy with my own life right now, anyway. What's with that look, Roxanne? Really, I don't need you to judge me.
I'm not judging you. I just can't believe you would pull that card. You can't hold that against me. One day you'll be in a tough situation and you'll understand.
I've been in plenty of tough situations. All the time, in fact.
You just see Tanya as a burden to you now. You're using this to manipulate the situation, make it look like you're doing me a favor when you're not. Anyone could see that. You have no empathy. Tanya is a good kid. You obviously can't see that. Do you even have compassion? Do you know what having compassion for someone feels like?
A narcissist will stop at nothing to destroy you because they are after dominance and control. The person that is in relationship with a narcissist has a little secret. And they do not want that secret to be shared with the world because that will activate this shame response that the person is a narcissist. So the person in relationship with a narcissist is a very powerful person because they know.
So I just can't believe Cindy's talking divorce. I mean, I can't tell you how concerned I've been about her. I wish I knew what was happening with her.
You know, Cindy never told me about this. I don't understand. She talks to us all the time. This doesn't make sense.
Well, I'm just afraid she might have a nervous breakdown or something. I don't really want that on my conscience. It's all just such a big mystery to me. I've been trying to figure out what's wrong with her, but I don't know. I mean, at least I know it's not me. I've just been trying to help any way I can.
You know, like I said, it doesn't make sense, but I know something's up. I can see it in her demeanor. I just don't think I can trust my daughter anymore.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
If they are in relationship with someone, they will say wonderful things about them. They will say she is a wonderful mother. She is a wonderful parent. And in other contexts, the narcissist will say how horrible they are, and I'm just so worried about her. She seems she seems unstable. She gets angry. I don't know what to do. And so there's this victim language, particularly with the covert narcissist. They will cry. They will seem sad. They will look totally normal.
You told your own daughter that you were dying and that's why she's here?
No. I told her she needed to stay here so I didn't burden her with my illness, and that staying here would be better than going into foster care. But that was just for the time being.
What?
I'm here to take her to her first day of school.
You weren't even sick. You went on a cruise. You posted about it on Facebook. Do you think you can just take care of her whenever it suits you?
Go get Tanya so I can take her to school.
Give me those damn keys. Come back here. I adopted your cats. I paid all your bills. I took care of your kid. I drove her to work. Give me those damn keys. Ow! You are crazy. Give me the keys. Give me the keys. Brandon. You snap. Keys. No. Give me them.
Oh, give me those keys. I'm taking care of my child.
You love crushing your support system. You love pushing my buttons. You love using my abortion against me. You're enjoying this.
I'm not enjoying this. I'm upset because I've stood by you, and this is how you repay me?
It's completely reversed. I'm always the one standing by you. Even when you're not around, I'm always sticking up for you. I'm always protecting you. Doesn't that define friendship? Even when you crapped out on me, I was always there for you. When you fall, I'd always be there to catch you. Even after all those awful things you said about me made me feel worthless, I always found a way to forgive you.
I've been there for you. I stand by that.
That's what you tell Tanya. Telling her your lies over and over again doesn't make it true.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Your quivering voice isn't fooling anyone.
Give me my daughter.
Randy, don't you feel anything for anyone else other than yourself? You have to have feelings, like genuine feelings. They've got to be in there somewhere.
So narcissistic rage can happen because of anything. It doesn't have to be something that you did or you said or anything that you can even view in the room that you're in with the narcissist. Some smell or some memory might have popped in their head that could set them off. They could go into a deep rage, and of course that's all going to be directed at you. And they're going to project, yet again, they're going to project everything that they're feeling onto you. You caused this, even though they may have had a memory of their own abusive childhood, their own past, something that's happened to them that has caused this rage, and they don't even have the emotional IQ to understand that that's really what they're angry about. They'll twist it and make it about you, and you are the cause, the reason for whatever pain they're feeling right now.
A separation? Why didn't you talk to anyone about this?
Because I had hoped it would be a passing thing, but after talking to Conrad and Raj for weeks and weeks, I made the decision we're moving out. And I don't care what Mom and Dad think about that.
I can tell you what they think already. They're firmly in Conrad's court.
Isn't that terrific?
I knew it was going to come to this.
Covert narcissists do tend to be a bit more dangerous than an overt narcissist because they are more difficult to see.
They're much more quiet. They don't have that need to self-proclaim their grandiose self. They're quiet and more silent. They're often more annoyed or triggered by people as opposed to easily angered and have to take center stage to right a wrong. They're more of a closet narcissist, where by the time you've fallen into their web, you don't realize what has happened. It's an attack that you didn't see coming. Overt narcissists are pretty clear, usually within the first few months. But a covert narcissist may take years to understand.
Hello?
I was having lunch with a colleague of mine, and he was smoking a cigarette where it was dangling over his iced tea. A few of the ashes fell into the cup, and I said, "Oh, great, Lipton ash tea."
2 years this time, and you open with a joke, and a crappy one at that.
You don't have to bring that up, you know.
Well, I see a pattern here. You call me every few years to connect out of the blue.
Well, son, I'm just hoping you've stopped being rude to people like when you were a child. Rude to your mother, your teachers, your sister. And I'm hoping you've grown in that time.
Oh, sure, Dad, I've grown. But what about you? Where's your growth? God, I can just see that long stare you give me, even over the damn phone.
What do you want me to say? I'm here talking to you.
Dad, I don't know what I'd want you to say. You know, at this point, it'd just be nice to have a father again.
Son, you're going to have a father again. That's why I'm calling.
That makes me feel good, Dad. Really good, actually. I'm grateful that you called. I just think we both need to sit down and talk about things. I mean, really, really deeply talk.
That's fine, as long as you don't go into one of your deep rabbit hole discussions. That I don't want to do.
It's gonna have to get deep, Dad. I mean, look at this. It's the only way. We both need to explore what we're going through. You know, I figured if I was consistent in giving you support, giving you love, that you'd eventually come around and show me that you had an understanding of things. That you'd actually show me that you're damn human. And heaven forbid you'd finally see me for who I am. But you never did. You never have shown me one sign of consistent love or feeling. You know what? That has to change.
You're just proving my point. You know who I am already. What's the point? There's no reason to pick apart your father's head. Son, accept that you have your father back.
No, I'm not going to accept this. I'm not going to accept the abuse. I'm not going to accept this treatment. I'm not going to accept these constant allegations of, you're so hurtful to your mother, you're abused your mother. What about the abuse you've shown me, huh? Where's your feeling? Where's your sense of compassion? You've shown me none of that. And frankly, I can't do brain surgery and fix the wires in your head. I know there's no medicine you can take. But frankly, I'm sick of the damn manipulation. And you know what? It ends here. I'm done with that.
Projection is what the narcissist does to disperse, I think, their feelings of themselves. What they do is everything that they're feeling negatively about themselves, they will project onto their victims or to anyone who will accept it. If they're feeling that they've been cruel, they might project onto you that you're being cruel. They might say to you, your behavior is cruel and they can't tolerate it, even though it's the other way around. They may call you stupid. They may call you a variety of different negative names or insults. And typically, in my belief, this is a window into how they think about themselves.
I don't understand why you won't let us use the washer and dryer here.
I thought you said you had one at your place.
I do, but it's so tiny. Everything there is so cramped. Debbie and I are sharing a bed. We're barely scraping by. I really, really need some money. We're not going to make rent.
Melissa said she told your mother and father not to talk to me anymore. I don't like that. She used the word manipulation. I'm not manipulating anyone. And frankly, I don't like when you put your problems on me.
Conrad,
I don't know, personally, I don't think the separation's going very well.
we need the money. Do you know what your daughter did the other day? She was at the playground and she found coins on the ground and she picked them up and put them in a jar. She knows we're having problems because every time she asks me for something at the store, I have to say no. So she hands me this jar, and you know what she says? She says, "Mommy, this will help you pay the rent." She's been so patient. I've asked her to be patient, and she's been so patient. Don't you see what we're up against? Can't you help us?
Here's some onions. Why don't you make that a spaghetti you're so fond of making?
If you are in a relationship with a narcissist and you have a child, or you are in a relationship and for whatever reason you cannot walk away, the person must find a way to have exterior sources of support and an exterior life. The narcissist will work very hard to make sure this doesn't happen, but you must find other people that are supportive. You must find other sources of identity. And arguably the same thing for your children, because your children or your child is likely going to be abused by the narcissist.
Do you know what you're suggesting? What you're asking to take on? What you're asking us to take on?
Brandy will never sign off on it anyway. So it doesn't matter. I just want to protect Tanya from who her mother really is. She doesn't know. Brandy told Tanya that I took money from her. She tells everyone that, even my friends. And they believe her. I don't know how she does it, but she's like a master of deception.
But that doesn't translate into you becoming her guardian. I mean, Tanya is not your responsibility.
Dad, remember you and Mom taught me to take care of people.
Well, your empathy is noted, but it doesn't work that way.
Do you know what it feels like to have all your friends think that you're trash? She's got half the world thinking I'm something I'm not. Do you know how that feels? I've seen plenty of TV shows where everyone's led to think this one person is guilty of something that they're not. And in the end, everyone's proven wrong. Dad, this isn't a TV show.
I know who you are. Your mother knows who you are. Tanya knows who you are. Believe me, even though she doesn't show it often. And I bet a lot of your friends know who you are. Now, you may feel that everyone is swayed by Brandy, but they're not.
Tanya told me that sometimes Brandy doesn't even pick her up from school. She has to walk 3 miles to get home. If she lived here, she wouldn't have to deal with all that craziness. At least I could be a better mother to her than her own mother. Brandy doesn't even go to the parent meetings at the school because she knows the teachers will see how bad of a mom she really is. She doesn't care about anyone but herself. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's hopeless. Brandy will never submit on paper something that shows that she's a bad mom. So Tanya could never live here anyway.
Well, there are ways to work around that.
flying monkey is someone who does the bidding for the narcissist. They will carry out the dirty work. They will do the legwork. They will tell your friends and family and on behalf of the narcissist that you are a bad person, or they will spread rumors around your community that you are doing something wrong. They do the work for the narcissist. We've been so beaten down by what they do that we believe they have the power to go out and change everybody's view of us.
So narcissists use a lot of tools in their tool belt, and through those tools, there's many things that they use. Gaslighting is commonly used by a narcissist. Gaslighting is used to shift blame, to place a importance on their lack of accountability. They are the victim. They've done nothing wrong, but instead it's your fault.
You're actually trying therapy on your father? I'm not gonna go round and round with you. This is going nowhere. I'm not gonna argue with you.
I can't talk to you if this is your perspective on me, and on other people for that matter. I'm done with this relationship if you can't take my feedback.
You can't say that you weren't mean to your mother, mean to your sister, just so mean.
You know, you keep saying that every few years. I gotta ask, why do you keep coming back to me then?
Look what you're trying to say to me. Look, you're trying to hurt me here. Isn't me being here making my point?
Stop pushing my buttons!
I'm not pushing your buttons. I love you.
Don't say that you love me. Don't you dare say you love me. Love is being open to the other person. Love means being open to their perspective. Love means you want to hear what I have to say. You don't love me.
There you go again, getting all deep. You know I'm not that kind of person.
Dad, you know I've tried to deal with you not loving me. I actually blame myself for it. But you know what? I've been trying to take the high road with you.
This isn't taking the high road. Listen to what you're saying.
Well, apparently I have to thank you. It's because of you I've become an expert in the field of covert narcissism that almost no one knows about, but so many people suffer from. It's a pandemic, in my opinion, and I can teach people to look through your BS and the fact that you want to be the victim here. I show them how to get through the gaslighting, the fact that you want to make us out to be the bad guys all the time. I'm not going to let that happen anymore. Your days of manipulating me are over. No more of this pushing my buttons. No more of this slow burn, this death by 1,000 paper cuts. The manipulation stops now.
In the end, can a narcissist actually be happy? Certainly, I would love to say that there's some hope that they could. I do think that they have fleeting moments of happiness, but it's not based on human interaction. It's oftentimes based on their ego being fluffed by someone or admired by someone or achieving some accomplishment in their career that they get validation for or acknowledgement of. Actually, truly being happy with a one-on-one relationship with another person, I don't believe could ever satisfy a narcissist and make them happy.
So generally speaking, it is very difficult for us to move on from a relationship with a narcissist because we can't understand their way of thinking. Most of us have empathy and compassion for people. We have a way of living our lives that is in deep conflict with the way a narcissist behaves. So once we discover that that is their personality type, that maybe they never really cared about us in the first place, it is incredibly difficult for us to wrap our minds around that. It's really understanding that there's grieving involved, that we have to let go of what never was.
This is it. Is it? Yep. It's over. We're getting a divorce. I had tried to keep it together for Debbie, but I couldn't. I tried everything. You know I tried. Of course I do. Do Mom and Dad understand? I'm not sure. I still can't grasp that Conrad turned my whole family against me.
Well, I think Mom understands.
I tried to get Conrad to see his authentic self, to see his true self, but there was nothing there at all. I was a fool to think there was something there. You know, all of these things, all of these experiences, they're supposed to add up to something positive that you're supposed to build on. But when it comes to narcissism, hope is just poison.
The most important message that I really want to send to everyone out there is, if you've been a victim of narcissism, if you've been raised by a parent that was narcissistic and abusive to you, or if you've been engaged in a relationship or friendship or coworker dynamic with a narcissist, you are not alone. Victims feel very isolated. That's the job of a narcissist, to get everyone around them out of their life, to make them feel alone, to make them feel victimized, to make them feel they don't deserve better. You are not alone. There are so many victims out there of narcissism that don't even realize that that is the answer to why they have adult struggles today. If you're a victim of narcissism, please know that there is help out there for you. You can rebuild. You can build your self-esteem back up and your awareness, and you can overcome and break the cycle of ever attracting a narcissist again.
Well, there are ways to work around that.
Anya, this is your home now, okay?
I think you have a problem with narcissism, Conrad.
That resonates with me.
Stop pushing my buttons.